Hey, welcome back everybody. Truth Tom here. I want to finish up this video on Tesla's service. But before I get into that, I want to tell you a little story here. I have a whole theory about service and the future of service, and this applies to just about every industry that you can think of. I had a plumbing problem on one of my properties the other day. I have a submersible sewer pump, just to make it as easy as possible, and it failed. And they do fail about every 8, 9, 10 years sometimes, depends. But anyway, mine failed, and I have 5 plumbers if I have one. And of course, I called all my usual guys, and this was something that needed to be done like really fast. So I called up on a Friday. Just about everybody. The earliest one I could have gotten was Tuesday morning of the following week, which would have been last week actually. And I finally said, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm done with the whole, hey, do you know a good plumber type thing. So I went online and I hired probably the biggest plumbing company in the area that I live in. Now, I knew 2 things were going to happen. Number 1, I knew that I could get the job done really fast. And number 2, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that it would cost me more money than anywhere else. But there comes a time when you just have to do what's right. And as they say, you should never, trip over dollars to make dimes. I could not have that building shut down. It was not an option. It would have cost me a lot of money. Tenants may have wanted to move out or have me pay for hotel rooms or whatever it was. And I said, no, I need this done. Anyway, I called these people. It was a Friday morning at 11 a.m. They showed up at 8:30 a.m. the next morning, did a phenomenal job. The 2 guys that showed up on the job, I bought them lunch because it was extremely hot last week in this particular area. And anyway, make a long story short, yesterday I get this package in the mail, and of course I think, as usual, this is something from Tesla or something that I purchased on Amazon for Tesla, because I'm kind of addicted to Tesla stuff. And also, by the way, as you know, many companies, because I have a YouTube channel and I'm a Tesla guy, they send me free gifts and they ask me to review them, so I do that. Anyway, they sent me this beautiful drink cup, this plumbing company. Now, like I said, I paid a lot of money, but I was happy with the job. It was done professionally. They provided me with a giant array of photographs of the job from start to finish. Everything they did, every bolt they unscrewed, every bolt they retightened, every hole they dig, every pipe they connected. That's priceless information. There's nothing to hide. You pay for that, and you will pay for that. And to get this cup, I just thought was a really, really incredible, smart gesture on their part. And of course, I will ride around with this cup in my truck or in my car or wherever I go, and I will sing their praises. We have moved away from just accepting bad service. I don't care if you go to a restaurant. I don't care if you go to a plumber. I don't care where you go. Only companies that give exceptionally good service will survive in the future. And that's why I want to talk about Tesla. When I got to that service center, obviously they took care of everything. It cost me nothing. You know that from the last video. But today I want to talk about just flat out good service, customer care, and respect for the customer. When I walked in the door, I told you this before, that gentleman named Connor was the first person I met. From the moment I met him, to the moment I left that service center, I could not tell you who the person was who was in charge or who the person was whose job it was to clean the vehicles. Because I felt like everybody in that building was equal, right? I'm going to intervene here because I want to park down by the waterfront. It's a beautiful night. And, by the way, I'm still getting used to this Cybertruck. Anyway, everybody in there was an equal. I never once, I honestly could not point to a single person in there and say, that person is in charge, or that person is in charge of this, or that person is in charge of that, or whatever it was. I could not find that person. They didn't have a label. They didn't have a name tag that said manager, service manager, nothing else. And I want to say one other thing about that guy, Connor, and this has never happened to me in my life. He was walking around the entire service center, constantly talking to all the customers, telling them exactly what was going on with their vehicle, telling them about the timing, keeping them informed. And he did something to me that I have never seen happen before. He walked up to me and he said, listen, I just want to let you know, I'm going to lunch now. I will be back in about 45 minutes. And while I'm gone, everybody here will take care of you. I just wanted you to know that I'm going to lunch. Nobody has ever done that for me in my life. Anyway, they took care of their service. I left there. I went home. And then a couple of days later, I got this message. This is from a gentleman named Pedro. I'm going to read it to you. Hey, Thomas, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to personally reach out and thank you for choosing Tesla Service Savannah for your recent service visit. One of the privilege of my role is having the opportunity to hear directly from customers about their experiences. While I spend much of my day supporting our operation and coaching our team, one of the things I value most is understanding how our service feels from the customer's perspective. Every vehicle that comes through our doors has a person, a family, a schedule, and a story attached to it. That's something we never lose sight of. If your experience was everything you hoped it would be, I'm grateful to hear that. If there was a moment where we could have communicated better, moved faster, set clearer expectations, or simply served you better, I would sincerely appreciate the opportunity to learn about it. Honest feedback helps us improve and allows me to better support the team responsible for your experience. In the coming days, you may receive a brief survey regarding your visit. Those responses are incredibly meaningful to us. They help us understand what we're doing well, where we need to improve, and they serve as one of the primary ways we recognize team members who go above and beyond our customers. If we've given you any reason to feel disappointed, frustrated, or overlooked, I hope you'll give me the opportunity to learn about it. Customer feedback is incredibly important. But I believe the best outcomes come from conversations, and I'd welcome the chance to personally assist. A reply to this email comes directly to me. Thank you again for your trust, your business, and for being part of our Tesla community. We never take that for granted. And I'm going to tell you something right now. That is truly how I feel. Anytime I have any communication or any business dealings with Tesla. Now, I'm going to be honest. I put posts on Facebook, on X and all these other platforms, and people will sometimes come back and say, well, that wasn't what I experienced. They didn't have a loaner car for me, blah, 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 blah. And I get that. But I don't think I'm wrong. In my 60-something years on this planet, I don't think I am wrong when I say Tesla, I believe, have indeed the best customer service. I don't care. I'll challenge you all day long on that. So it's really, really, really important. When you purchase anything, I don't care if it's a $36,000 Model 3 or a $2 hamburger, which doesn't exist. Let's call it, okay, so let's call it a $10 hot dog, because that's probably what it costs. If you go anywhere and you are not getting good service, you should not support that business, period. And I'm telling you right now that going forward, I'm seeing it in the restaurant industry. The restaurant industry is about to get crushed, simply because the customers, number one, are sick and tired of the price, and number two, they're sick and tired of bad service. And don't tell me there isn't bad service. We all have a bad day, but I constantly go into retail stores, restaurants, bars, various businesses, and let's call it what it is. The plumber I've been dealing with for 5 years, who tells me he can't get to me for a week. I just have zero tolerance for that. I got out of Tesla for $25. The plumber cost me a lot of money. Either way, service is extremely important to me, and I know it is to you also. You have the power with your pocketbook. You're the one in charge of the money. Demand good service. Anyway, I have not reached out to this gentleman yet. I have been so busy. I plan on reaching out to him. I plan on going back to Savannah the next time I'm going through there, which will be really soon. And I will be dropping off some goodies. Thanks to some people in the Tesla community who taught me. Every once in a while, if you're passing by a Tesla service center, skip into a Dunkin' Donuts or whatever is around the area, grab a box of donuts, grab whatever it is somewhere, drop it off to those guys. They deserve it, and girls, they deserve it, and they appreciate it. I was so impressed with Tesla service. I was so impressed with the plumbing company I dealt with. And I think you need to decide that you will not do business with anyone who doesn't give you that level of service. I think you will make the business world better. And you must tell them. When you go into a restaurant and you get bad service, you must tell them. Don't be nasty. You don't have to be nasty. But you must tell them. And you must tell everybody around you about your experience. That's the only way we can right this ship.
Truth is the way. Speak it yourself. Demand it from others.